broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends and neighbors, what do you say? Good morning. Great to see you this morning. This is The Bill Press Show. We're coming to you live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., bringing you up to date on all the news of the day, whether it's happening here in our nation's capital, around the country, around the globe. Coming to you live on your local progressive talk radio station, on Free Speech TV, and worldwide on our video stream, TawkrTV. Events in the nation's capital. Hi, everybody. It's Bill Press. This year marks the 10th anniversary of doing the Bill Press Show, every day covering the news of the day with the nation's top newsmakers, either on the line or in our studio right here on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. Not only that, I go to the White House briefings every day to get answers to the top questions of the day. Bottom line, if it's happening in Washington, D.C., either at the White House or the Capitol, we are all over it. Every day, we welcome to our studio political leaders and reporters and labor leaders and newsmakers to help us understand the issues of the day. You know, we started out as a radio show only, but over the years, we have branched out to all forms of the new media. So today, we're not just a radio show. We are podcasting, streaming audio, streaming video, and we are simulcast live on Free Speech TV nationwide. Reaching out to 40 million households on Free Speech TV, in addition to hundreds of thousands on local radio stations and online.
AFGE is so proud to be associated with this show and looks forward to being working with Bill and this show for a long time.
Bill Press is the right man at the right time with the right message.
And thanks to the Bill Press Show, we get our message out to thousands and thousands of people every day. Thank you, Bill Press.
The Teamsters are a proud partner with Bill Press on his show, telling the truth about what's going on with working families. Tune in.
Yes, it's been a fun and exciting 10 years so far for the Bill Press Show. We're looking forward to many more with all of you, broadcasting live every morning from the nation's capital.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. At highway speeds, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop the texts, stop the wrecks.
Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show with Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman. And all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just, make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive, we hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner. One of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Columbine, Virginia Tech,
Tucson,
Aurora,
Fort Hood, Oak Creek,
Newtown.
Newtown,
Newtown.
Newtown.
How many more?
How many more? How many more colleges? How many more classrooms?
How many more movie theaters?
How many more houses of faith?
How many more shopping malls?
How many more street corners?
How many more?
How many more?
Enough.
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 Demand a plan.
Right now. As a mom.
As a dad. As a friend. As a husband.
As a wife.
As an American.
As an American.
As an American.
As a human being.
For the children of Sandy Hook.
Demand a plan. No more lists of names. It's not too soon.
It's too late.
Now is the time.
Before we all know someone who loved someone on that list.
No more lists.
No more.
Who they might have been. No more.
If we had just done something yesterday. It's time.
We can do better than this.
We can do better than this.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time for our leaders to act.
Demand a plan. right now.
Right now.
You! Demand it!
Enough.
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 Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hey, look who's back. Yeah, you're all back from a long Thanksgiving weekend, and I'm all back from a long Thanksgiving vacation. Hey, hello, everybody. What do you say? Here we are on a big Monday, November 30. So great to see you today. Welcome back and welcome to this special end of November edition of the Bill Press Show. Yes, here we are in our nation's capital, our studio on Capitol Hill, and here we are with you everywhere in this great land of ours. There with you in your bedroom, in your kitchen, in your living room, in your car, in your office, wherever. Walking down for a walk this morning, we're here with you on the radio, on your local progressive talk radio station, and on television on Free Speech TV worldwide. You can catch us, of course, on any electronic device at our video stream, TawkrTV, youtube.com/Tawker, TAWKR-TV. How about it? Great to see you today. Hope you had a wonderful, relaxing weekend. Thanksgiving is the best because you don't have to deal, unless you're a Black Friday nut, you don't have to deal with all the pressures of shopping, buying presents, wrapping presents, all of that. Just a good time to get together with family and friends and celebrate that friendship and time out to remember all the just wonderful parts of life that we should be grateful for and indeed are grateful for. I love it at Thanksgiving when we get the family there and go around the table and everybody, even the little kids, get a chance to say what they're thankful for. That's what it's all about. And we're thankful to be here with you every day and thankful to you, grateful to you for tuning in every day. It's a great friendship, a great partnership. We celebrate Thanksgiving kind of every day here around the Bill Press Show with our team. Peter Ogburn, welcome back, Peter.
Welcome back, Bill.
Yeah, about
to
to
see
be
you.
right.
Yeah.
Jamie Benson has decided to extend the Thanksgiving vacation. We're not sure how long the things. A long weekend for Jamie is a long weekend. Ray Rogers here, ready to take your calls. Don't forget, we want to hear from you at 866-55-PRESS. Cyprian Bolding here as well, our videographer on the job. And I'll tell you more about it a little bit later, but just have to tell you, back from a great vacation to a part of the world, part of Europe we'd never been before. We talked about this before I left, decided we were not going to let the terrorists scare us away from Europe, even though a lot of people warned Carol and me, no, don't go. You can't go now. It's not safe yet. But, I have to tell you, we were there 10 days. We did not see one single terrorist, okay, so far as I know. But we were in parts of France and Spain I'd never been before, to Madrid, a phenomenal city with great, great museums and wonderful restaurants, up to the French part of Basque Country, a few days in Biarritz. They're a beautiful coastal town, spectacular little spot. And then down to the wonderful city of Bilbao, stopping in San Sebastian in Spanish Basque Country, and then into Bilbao, where an American, Frank Gehry, has given the world maybe the greatest museum that we've got. The Guggenheim in Bilbao is worth a special trip just to see it. And back here on Saturday, and here we are. All right.
The time change worked in your favor, right? I mean, you had no problems getting up this morning, right? You were just happy.
The time change
sprung right
does
out of
not
bed,
work
right?
in your favor. No, like Yesterday, 3 a.m., whoa, wide awake, because with a 6-hour time difference, it was 9 o'clock Bilbao time, right? Yeah, that's the way it works. We'll gradually catch up to things. But no problem getting up this morning. I was up before the alarm went off.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, hello. And, of course, I couldn't. What did I miss? What did I miss while I was gone? You know me. I'm in the news every day, right? On TV, on radio every day. It's hard to get away from what's going on, right? And I came back, and what did I miss? I found out I missed nothing. Donald Trump doesn't make any more sense today than he did before I left. Here he is yesterday talking about attacking Hillary on something that you would never think he could attack Hillary for this.
You ever notice she goes and has something and then you don't see her for 3-4 days? We can't have that. We need somebody with endurance, with unbelievable strength. We just can't do this. We can't do it anymore. She goes back to sleep.
We need someone with unbelievable strength.
Yeah, let me just tell you something. There's one thing, you can criticize Hillary for a lot of stuff. You cannot criticize her for not having enough energy. I mean, this woman's been at it 24/7, full-time, since 1992, and before that, as First Lady of Arkansas, right? First Lady, Senator from New York, Secretary of State, candidate for president. Yeah, if he's counting on Hillary to clock out and not be there full-time, he's got a surprise coming. But, why should we expect Donald Trump to make any sense? It doesn't make any sense at all. And it doesn't matter because he's still number one in the polls. And the Republican Party deserves him. We got lots of people coming in today to help us out from Salon, from Huffington Post, from the Daily Beast, and from Vox. And, yes, another tragic shooting, this time in Colorado Springs, with some very hateful implications. But first,
this is the Full Court Press.
What do you got, Peter?
Yes, indeed. Just a couple other stories making news. The star of the HGTV show Flip or Flop is a man by the name of Tarek Al-Musa. He is the host of the show. He's on TV all the time. And he had a listener, or I should say a viewer, write him an email and say, hey, I think you should get this lump on your throat checked out.
What?
Because he's, like I said, he's on TV talking right to the camera, and he had a lump on his throat. And he said he had actually seen the doctor about it before. The doctor wasn't worried about it. Turns out, thyroid cancer. It was thyroid cancer spotted by someone who watches the show, who wrote in to let the host know. He's got it under control. It's going to be taken care of. He's getting treatment for it. But how about that? A viewer was actually the one that diagnosed it, said, I'm a nurse. This looks like something you need to get checked out, and it looks like it could be something related to thyroid cancer.
Well, let me just say, first of all, I hope he got a new doctor.
Yeah.
And second, Cyprian, give it a little close-up here.
Yeah, make sure if you're watching the show.
If you're watching the show on Free Speech TV or Cyprian, just as close as you can get it. I'll do the full turn, maybe like this.
Get a good look.
You
got him? Okay. Everybody watch and let us know if he looks to be in good health.
Now I'll take my shirt and
turn your head and cough. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
All right. Okay. How about this? Facebook is putting together a new parental leave policy for new parents, and it's a big one. 4 months, full months of paid leave for all new parents is what they're putting together. They haven't sort of officially made that official, but they floated it out there and said, this is what we want to do. This is how we'd like to make it work.
Where is this now?
This Facebook. For
Facebook?
All employees. Now, if you're on Facebook, this doesn't count. You have to work for Facebook.
Right.
Yeah. So, and this, of course, comes from Mark Zuckerberg, who announced that he and his wife, Priscilla, are having a baby soon.
Right.
And he says...
Haven't they had their baby yet?
Not yet. No. He says they think that everybody should have 4 months. 4 months paid leave, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah. And it was rivalry week in the NCAA football, and so one of the big games is Ohio State versus Michigan. It's one of the biggest rivalries out there. Well, the governor of Ohio, John Kasich, put out an executive order banning the letter M, for Michigan, right? Yeah, this is part of what he called the Scarlet Letter Saturday. No one could use the letter M in the state of Ohio. And, by the way, this year, on top of that, he banned khakis, which is what the coach of the Michigan Wolverines, Mr. Harbaugh, wears. He's known for wearing his khakis. So John Kasich banned khakis, banned the letter M, and apparently it must have worked. Ohio State won that game 42-13. So
there it is.
Yeah, must be something to it.
It'd be hard to pronounce a lot of words without using the letter M.
Yeah.
You know? How do you say mommy?
Yeah, right.
Right? I mean, like, for kids.
Hey, lady.
Well, yeah, I've called my mother other things, too. I hate to start here today, but you can't avoid it. It is the number one story of the day. It's very, very sad. It's tragic, and it is loaded with implications. And, of course, I'm talking about the shooting Friday at the Planned Parenthood Clinic and Shopping Center in Colorado Springs. I'd love to get your take on it, 866-55-PRESS. The Lieutenant Catherine Buckley from the Colorado Springs Police Department gives us the toll taken here by this nutcase.
This complete situation is a tragedy. We lost 2 of our citizens from Colorado Springs, and we lost an officer.
And if you read about the 3 people whose lives were lost, I mean, they were incredible Americans. This police officer was a figure skater. He had been a figure skater. He was an Iraq war veteran, a family man, 2 daughters, dedicated to them. Everybody said an incredible citizen of the community. Another young father shot down and killed. Again, people said he was just one of the most wonderful people you'd ever want to meet. A woman who was there at the clinic helping just to be there with a friend who had gone in for a medical appointment, and she wanted to be there with her friend. This kind of person everybody said that she would do anything for anybody. And just, again, another case of just senseless violence where this loner, this, kind of guy that everybody said was just lived out in a trailer by himself and didn't associate with people, with friends and neighbors, just wanted to be left alone. And yet he gets his AK and is able to go in and just open fire randomly and just shooting people, holding people hostage for hours until finally he surrendered and is in custody today. It was at the shopping center, and it started out in the parking lot between the shopping center and the clinic, but it was clearly the Planned Parenthood clinic that was the target of this. His target, that's what he was aimed at. That's why he was there. That's what set him off and ended up with the 3 people killed. And again, tragic situation for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's one more case of mass shooting, gun violence in this country. Somebody who should never have had access to a gun, too easily have access to a gun, and one more victory for those people who just, they pretend to be, so many politicians, right? They pretend to be so upset, so sorry about their lives lost and don't do one damn thing about it. When are we finally going to step up? Martin O'Malley's got it right. This is one more case where the NRA, blood on their hands.
The NRA has one goal, and one goal only, and that is selling as many guns as possible, no matter the cost in lives. Well, that might be their interest, but that is not what's best for America, and we need to stand up and say no to the NRA.
And we need politicians, we need members of Congress with enough backbone to stand up to the NRA and do something about the easy access to guns. That's one response. The other response, again, a very, very clear connection between what happened in Colorado Springs and the rhetoric that we've heard, the anti-Planned Parenthood hatred and rhetoric that we've heard from Republican politicians, starting with Carly Fiorina and Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio and every last one of them. And you can't tell me there's not. There is a direct link between their hateful rhetoric and what happened, those 3 people killed in Colorado Springs. The killer himself, when he was grabbed by the police and taken into custody, said, "No more selling body parts." That's quote unquote Carly Fiorina. And the head of the Rocky Mountain Planned Parenthood, her name is Vicki Cowart, made this point yesterday.
I do know that the
Just the noise level out there about Planned Parenthood has been high, and it's been hateful the last several months.
So I think we got to call this what it is. This was an act of terrorism. We talk all about radical jihadists. Well, we have radical terrorists in this country, too. I don't know whether this guy was a Christian or not. I'm not going to call him a Christian terrorist, but he's a terrorist. And this was a hate crime, and this was a hate crime that was triggered, set off by hate speech and hate rhetoric on the part of almost every one. I can't think of one who didn't go there. Every one of the Republican presidential candidates. This nut heard what Carly Fiorina said and took that as a license to go out and commit this hateful act and to kill these three people. Let's start off with Kevin up in Stratford, Connecticut. Hey, Kevin, thanks for joining us. What do you think?
Good morning, Bill. You just now just came on and almost stole my thunder, but my comment was, when they're white, they're lone gunmen, and when they're brown-skinned or dark-skinned, they're terrorists. And I'd like the press to start calling this guy what he is, and that is a terrorist, and not a loner, not a psycho. He may have been all those, but he is number one and above a terrorist.
I think that's a very important point, Kevin. That's why I wanted to use it, too, because let's call it what it is, right? And define, and until we do, and until we're willing to say that, and Timothy McVeigh was a terrorist. This guy is a terrorist. And until we make that connection, we're never going to do anything about it. And also, until we make the connection between what happened in Colorado Springs and the rhetoric we've heard from these politicians, they've got to understand language matters. Words matter. Rhetoric has consequences. We see the consequences in Colorado Springs. Let's talk more about it. Your calls at 866-55-PRESS. Thanks, Kevin, for the call.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch. And there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you. And what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show with Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman. And all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just, make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive, we hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner, one of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TawkrTV. That's TAWKR-TV. This is The Bill Press Show.
Here we go, 26 minutes after the hour, talking about the tragic shooting and murder of 3 innocent people at the Planned Parenthood clinic or nearby in Colorado Springs, Colorado, targeting the Planned Parenthood clinic by some nut who took the hateful rhetoric of Carly Fiorina and others as a license to take his gun and go down and try to just wipe out innocent people at that clinic in Colorado Springs. You know, I'll tell you what it reminds me of. You remember it was a few years ago when he was still on Fox News. Glenn Beck talked about this. He targeted and he made a whole big deal about this environmental organization in San Francisco. Remember that, Peter? And how by pushing for action on climate change, they were destroying our economy and were going to end Western civilization as we know. He was way, way over the top. And these people should be stopped. They should be outlawed, the whole thing. And there was some nut in, I believe, was arrested in Colorado. I may be wrong. But at somewhere, no, it was in the Bay Area. I think he might have been from Colorado. At any rate, a similar situation. This guy heard Glenn Beck, and he said, boom, it's up to me to do something about it since law enforcement won't. Loaded his car with guns and was caught on a bridge, I believe, in the Bay Area, on his way to this environmental organization with plans to walk in there and blow them all away. Again, we talked about it at the time. Rhetoric does have consequences. Language has consequences, and hateful rhetoric leads to hate speech leads to hate crimes and hate actions. And let's call it what it is. And Carly Fiorina and the rest of them, they all have blood on their hands today. 866-55-PRESS. More calls coming up.
Is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show with Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman. And all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, Of course, you know it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive, we hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner, one of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
President Obama, are you fracking kidding me?
Reopen the EPA studies.
In Texas, Wyoming, and Pennsylvania.
Fracking pollutes our oceans.
Fracking poisons our water.
Fracking makes climate change worse.
Fracking relies on toxic chemicals that cause cancer.
Ban fracking now.
Ban fracking now.
Go on. Ban it.
Ban fracking now.
Please.
This is the Bill Press Show.
33 minutes after the hour, Elias Isquith from Salon joins us in the next segment. Good to be back with you. Good to have you with us here. Sad to start off with such a news story, however. Another tragic shooting, another senseless murder of 3 beautiful citizens of Colorado Springs on Friday, with consequences both for the issue of easy accessibility to guns and the hateful rhetoric on the part of people who protest what is, let's remember, the law of the land, that abortion, first of all, Planned Parenthood clinics, again, it's worth repeating, 95% of their services are to women who just go in for checkups, for mammograms, for basic women's health care. And that 5% of abortions are for women who, for whatever reason, have decided, together with their doctors, that they don't want to proceed with, go through with a pregnancy, an unwanted pregnancy. That is the law of the land. It's perfectly legal. These women are doing nothing wrong, committing no crime, despite the rhetoric that you hear from the right wing and from the Republican candidates for president, all of them. Again, Carly Fiorina, I think, was the most talking about this video, which she has never produced because it doesn't exist. And we see the results of that hateful rhetoric in the killings on Friday. 866-55-PRESS, an act of domestic terrorism. Let's call it what it is. Ike calling from, by the way, before I hold on just a second, I just want to point out that there were some sane voices that we did hear on the other side. Bernie Sanders making the point over the weekend that we got to stand behind Planned Parenthood.
And we must defend Planned Parenthood.
Hillary Clinton, of course, making that same point very strongly.
We should be supporting Planned Parenthood, not attacking it.
And as Hillary points out, a point that I just made, we're talking about these clinics, we're talking about just women's health. That's what it is.
It is way past time for us to protect women's health and respect women's rights, not use them as political footballs.
Amen. Now, Ike, down in Charleston, South Carolina. Hey, Ike, how you doing?
Yeah, hey, good morning. I was sitting in my Bill Press Memorial weed garden and thinking about this issue. And, yeah, he's from South Carolina, so that's another notch in South Carolina's belt.
Ooh, is he really? Ooh.
Yeah, but, I always find it entertaining. Anytime something happens, you always hear it from the right wing that, the liberal media. It's the liberal media that's causing the fault of this and that, and it's video games or it's poor mental health, access to mental health and all of this and the other thing. But, when it comes down to their side and their media and the message that they're putting out, well, that couldn't have had anything to do with it.
No. Very, very good point, Ike. By the way, I don't know whether you saw this. Ted Cruz was asked by reporters about this guy, and Ted Cruz said the suspect was no right-winger. He said Ted Cruz called him a, quote, transgendered leftist activist. He said he was probably some transgendered leftist activist. Yeah. Ted Cruz can't stop the hateful rhetoric even when something like this happens. Let's go out to Paul in, I hope I got this right, Chillicothe, Iowa.
Coffee.
Hi, Paul.
Coffee. Hi, how are you?
Coffee. Oh, hi. How you doing? Sorry about that. Hey, turn your radio down. Get a little echo there. All right.
Okay. I don't have a radio, but...
whatever you got, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to say, Bill, I appreciate hosts like yourself, and I am proud to hear you bring up the subject that you brought up about the Planned Parenthood and about the rhetoric that did by one of our candidates for the President of the United States. I just hope other programs and other news people would get on the ball just like Bill Press.
Well, that's very kind of you to say, and I'm sorry. I've got to be the one to do it, but you got to speak truth to power and call it what it is. I think it was Kevin, I believe, our first caller, who said, this is an act of terrorism. We should call it an act of terrorism. That's exactly what it is.
Thank you very much. Thank you for doing that. I thank you very much.
All right. Hey, Paul, good for you. And by the way, my heart goes out to you and the other people of Iowa. For the next month, it's already been 6 months of nonstop campaigning. You're going to have to be putting up with the. I was reading this morning about the Republicans. Of course, look, they have another debate December 15th in Las Vegas, but before the primary. Other than that, going to Las Vegas for that, these Republican candidates, for the most part, are going to be parking themselves in Iowa, trying to travel around to every one of the 99 counties. And Rick Santorum is going to be there full time. Ted Cruz is going to be there full time. You name it. John Kasich is going to be there. If they're not in New Hampshire, they're going to be in Iowa. And by the way, and we'll talk to Elias Isquith about this in the next segment. From the latest I've heard is the guy who is now, quote unquote, we use that overuse the word surging. The guy surging in Iowa on the right is among the Republicans is Ted Cruz, and the guy sinking is Ben Carson. Ben Carson, who, by the way, because he was getting in trouble because it was pretty clear he had zero foreign policy experience and zero interest in learning about anything on foreign policy, and it was clear it was starting to hurt him in the polls, Ben Carson says, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to take a trip overseas to give me some foreign policy credentials. So what does he do? He goes to Jordan, to a refugee camp, Syrian refugees, and saying, these people don't want to come to the United States. They just want to go back to their country, and therefore we should not accept any Syrian refugees in the United States.
They love it here. They love it.
Yeah, right. But, I mean, making that leap, but because it may be true, the people that he talked to, and I'm sure a lot of those Syrian refugees would rather have stayed in their communities in Syria than be bombed out and forced to flee. And those who relatively nearby in Jordan, I think, live with the hope of someday that this civil war will be over and they can get back. But to make that leap, to say that out of 4.5 million refugees, the Syrian refugees, the United States should accept none at all, I guess that's what you expect from somebody who has, number one, no compassion, and number two, no sense of history, maybe, and number three, no sense of reality, the reality of the situation. Yeah, Ben Carson, sounding just, and I've made this point before, sounding just like so many, sadly, too many Americans, what too many Americans said right at the end of World War II, and during the height of World War II, when we were asked to take in refugees, particularly Jewish refugees fleeing Nazi Germany, and too many Americans said, no way, no how, we don't want any of them here, we won't allow any of them here. That's exactly what Ben Carson today is saying about Syrians. So this foreign trip to give himself any foreign policy experience backfired big time. What else is going on the political front? We'll find out with Elias Isquith. Thanks for your comments on Colorado Springs. More calls coming up later. 866-55-PRESS.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch. And there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you. And what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show with Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman. And all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive. We hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner. One of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
The most valuable morning radio show, according to The Nation magazine. This is The Bill Press Show.
15 minutes before the top of the hour, here we are on a Monday, November 30. I'm sorry, I'm a little laughing because I just looked up at the monitor here in the studio on MSNBC, and live from Iraq are John McCain and Lindsey Graham sitting side by side in Erbil, Iraq. This is Lindsey Graham's entire campaign. He's got one supporter. He's had that one supporter from the beginning, John McCain. Yeah. Okay, so I think I don't think that's going to get Lindsey Graham very far. But why not go back to Iraq?
I'll be just as effective of a candidate as John McCain was.
Less, I believe, at any rate. Yeah, you go off for Europe to 10 days, as I did, and you come back, and nothing has changed. Donald Trump is still saying crazy things and getting away with it, and John Kasich is still trying to say, we can't have this guy as president. Here's John Kasich yesterday.
Somebody who divides this country here in the 21st century, who's calling names of women and Muslims and Hispanics and mocking reporters, then saying, I didn't do it, but he did do it. It's just not going to happen.
Well, it looks like it is happening, John Kasich. Elias Isquith, our good friend from Salon, joins us on our news line again this morning. Hey, Elias, good to talk to you.
Hey, Bill. Good morning.
Thank you. So what is it with Trump? He can claim to see Muslims celebrating the fall of the Twin Towers, and he can mock this one reporter with a physical disability, and doesn't affect him at all, right?
No, I don't think it does. I mean, to me, the big takeaway so far about the response to the horrible mockery of the reporter from the New York Times is that, the only thing that seems different about it so far is, from my perspective, it seems like a lot of the kind of elite or most traditional media has come down even harder on him than they were when he was being flagrantly bigoted. Because partially, I think, because it's sort of one of their own. And so maybe there's some small chance that because the press is going to be even more have it in for Trump, that might have some impact, but I doubt it. I mean, the way that Trump loses is that one of his competitors convinces his voters that he's weak. You talk to his voters and you look at what they care about, and the main thing they love about him is they think that he's strong and he's not afraid of anybody. So anything that kind of doesn't address those areas of appeal is probably not going to make a dent.
And has the Republican establishment sort of accepted the fact that there's a real possibility this guy could get the nomination?
It seems like at least some of them have accepted it enough to be terrified of the process.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure you probably saw this, but a GOP operative, she worked on the Scott Walker campaign for about 5 minutes before it didn't work out. But Liz Mayer, who's kind of big on Twitter, she started a super PAC or some kind of independent group, and its whole point will be to take down Trump. And their argument is if things don't change from the status quo right now, then Trump is going to be the nominee, and he'll get walloped by Hillary Clinton. So they're kind of keeping their cards close to the vest in terms of what they're going to do to try to take him out. I suppose it'll be a lot of ads. It'll be a lot of pressure on perhaps members of the conservative establishment more than the Republican establishment, who maybe they can turn against Trump. But to be honest, I mean, like, it's hard for me to picture what they could throw at him that they haven't thrown already. I mean,
Right.
certainly Jeb Bush has thrown everything he has, but and the kitchen sink. So, they're going to try.
Yeah,
I
think the only thing that's going to work is he's going to have to start losing primaries, right? And until he does, right, they're going to be stuck with him. But the alternative to Trump is, let's say he does finally, for whatever reason, right, get out of fade. It looks like the alternative is not going to be Ben Carson, but maybe Ted Cruz.
Yeah, I mean, it's going from Trump to Ted Cruz is it's only an improvement in the most superficial sense, and I think you can make an argument from a liberal perspective that Senator Cruz should scare you more than Trump.
Totally, I agree.
He is, if anything, more extreme than Trump.
Oh yeah,
and as we're seeing in Iowa, it looks like all of the support that Carson had.
By the way, and smarter, right? I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot you could say about Ted Cruz, but he's not dumb. And I think there was a good breakdown of his rhetoric. I think William Saladin in Slate did it earlier in the week, last week, and he pointed out that he has a very subtle way of using Islamophobia to his advantage. He sort of frames it with a lot of dog whistles to the evangelical community, where he kind of frames it as being a genocide. ISIS is mainly genocidal against Christians. It's obviously ISIS is horrible, and they're doing horrible things to all sorts of people, but it's sort of it's a testament to Cruz's ability to kind of wield language as a weapon, that he's able to frame ISIS as mainly being anti-Christian, and then he ties that to Obama, arguing that Obama's refusal to take over just Christian refugees is sort of, hint, hint, wink, wink, sort of the larger war against Christianity. So, yeah, Trump is just as demagogic as Cruz, but he's a lot smoother.
And but Cruz has played a very skillful game. I think he's just held back, never attacked or insulted Donald Trump at all, right? And just kind of ready there to catch the wave at the right time. And it looks like this is the right time, particularly as Ben Carson starts to fade. And the latest poll that I saw from Iowa shows Cruz up at just behind Trump and Carson way down now. Not way down, but down in third place at any rate. And Elias Isquith, again, our guest from Salon at salon.com. Chris Christie getting a big endorsement of the union leader in New Hampshire. Does that propel him into, up in the upper ranks again in New Hampshire? Is this a comeback for Chris Christie?
No way. I would say that Christie should celebrate. This is probably the peak of his campaign right here.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the New Hampshire union leader is influential in New Hampshire, and perhaps more so than most newspapers are nowadays. So it'll help. But, Christie's problem has never been that the kind of wealthy and more perhaps sophisticated conservatives within the establishment have a problem with him. They don't. They like Christie.
Yeah.
So it's hard to imagine that this is going to really help him out in the sense of propelling him ahead of Trump or Cruz or now Rubio seems to be doing better in New Hampshire than he has been for most of the campaign. So, good for Christie. Christie's a good talker. He's good at charming the press. But, the fundamentals don't change. And those fundamentals, if you're looking for the kind of tough guy, no nonsense, almost like Frank Rizzo-esque for the people who remember the mayor of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You're not going to go to Christie when you got Trump.
Right. And I remember in 1988, the union leader endorsed Pat Buchanan for president. So they don't always get it right.
Right, yeah.
Or put this, they don't always
Former President Buchanan.
Exactly, former President Pat Buchanan and my former debate partner on Crossfire. Hey, Elias, always good to visit with you. Thanks so much for making time for us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
All right, talk to you again soon. Salon.com, Elias Isquith.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. the best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show and Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman, and all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive, we hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner, one of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Okay, at the next hour, Betsy Woodruff joins us from the Daily Beast. Peter.
All right, so we've had all these conversations about who can use what music on the campaign trail.
Oh, they're all getting in trouble.
They all get in trouble. Well, Donald Trump has permission. He has permission. He's been given permission by Dee Snider, the front man of Twisted Sister, to use the band's hit, We're Not Gonna Take It.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which some of our people might recognize as the theme song to the Stephanie Miller Show, but that is the song that Donald Trump wants to use on the campaign trail, and Dee Snider has given him permission, according to Dee Snider.
We're not going to take it anymore.
That's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one. He's going to let Donald Trump use it.
Why?
I don't know if Dee Snider is endorsing Donald Trump by putting that out there, but he says he has no problem with him using the music. He says, thinking back to when I wrote the song, what it's about rebellion, speaking your mind, and fighting the system. And if anybody is doing that, Donald Trump sure is, according to Dee Snider.
Well, I used to like that song.
Yeah, right?
Now we'll see what Stephanie Miller does about it, right?
Yeah, right.
All right. Stephanie, don't go along with this. Raise hell. I can count on you to do so. Back with 2 more hours of the Bill Press Show. Good to have you with us.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. the best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show and Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman, and all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive. We hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner, one of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
A few years ago, plastic bag waste in our city came to a tipping point. It was clear we had a bag problem. My department was tasked to reduce plastic bag consumption. We needed to come up with ways to change human behavior. So we asked ourselves, what do people really hate?
Yep.
Getting punched in the stomach. Preliminary studies showed that the consequences weren't severe enough to warrant behavioral change.
Actually, can I get that double bagged?
So we thought, what do people hate more than getting punched in the stomach? Kissing Helga.
Hey, big boy.
People didn't find her so offensive after all, so we had to get creative.
How many bags? Okay, now pour this ice water down your pants.
We tried everything.
Eat the threat. Defuse this bomb.
Even fighting your clone. After blowing through millions of dollars of government funds on research, I came up with a brilliant idea.
Why don't we just charge 5 cents per bag?
That's a stupid idea.
Would you like a bag?
Yes.
5 cents a bag.
5 cents? 5 cents? Do I still have the option of getting punched?
Honestly, I don't know how everyone else missed it.
Why don't you just get a reusable bag?
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. At highway speeds, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop the texts, stop the wrecks.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
150 world leaders gather in Paris for what Huffington Post says may be the last chance to save our planet. Big time. Very important. Maybe the most important world summit ever. Hey, hello, everybody. What do you say? It is Monday. A big Monday, November 30, last day of the month and last day of the long Thanksgiving weekend. I guess actually yesterday was the last day of it because today we're back at it.
Work, man.
And I'm back with all of you after a little 10-day excursion over to Spain and to France and to the Basque country. A wonderful trip. Good to be back with you, and I hope you had a great, great long Thanksgiving weekend. Thanks to Peter Ogburn and Jimmy Williams and Clinton Yates for filling in and keeping the show going while I was enjoying a little downtime.
Good for you.
Yeah, right. You know, I got tired of cooking that turkey. Decided to just get out of the country and let somebody else cook the turkey.
Not a bad idea.
Hey, so good to see you today. Thank you for joining us here. It is the Bill Press Show. We are in our nation's capital and our studio on Capitol Hill waiting for members of the House and the Senate to come back from their long Thanksgiving break today. They'll be up to no good once they get back in town, but the town will be a little more crowded with them around and all the lobbyists who come with them, their retinue of lobbyists. And, of course, President Obama yesterday leaving for Paris, where he is attending the United Nations conference on climate change at Le Bourget, just outside of Paris. We'll have reports from there later in the program. Very, very important business, and the reality of climate change has hit home. I think it's extremely significant that President Obama is there with the presidents of China and India, the leaders of both countries, and the three, United States, China, and India, the three worst polluters in the atmosphere, the three who have to do the most to cut down on the emission of greenhouse gases. And anyway, we'll keep our eye on that and a lot of other information here, and look forward to hearing from you at 866-55-PRESS or giving us a call on our newsline at 866-55-PRESS, or send us your comments on Twitter at BP Show, on Facebook at facebook.com/BillPressShow. Team here in place, just about all of us. Peter Ogburn, of course, leading the crew.
Hello, Bill.
Jamie, missing. So Peter's over there running the board today.
I think Jamie's still a little upset the Patriots lost last night.
Yeah, is that right? Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah,
huh?
he stayed up late, and then I don't know, he was supposed to be here, and I just saw some very angry, sad tweets from him.
Some fans take it too
Middle of
seriously.
the night, yeah.
But Ray Rogers is in on her job there, ready to take your calls at 866-55-PRESS, and Cyprian Bolding on the job, as well as our videographer. Yeah, I have. So one thing, coming back, I'm not going to bore you with all the slides of the Basque Country or of Madrid or Bilbao or Biarritz. No slideshow, but I do have one word of advice from my trip, and that is, if you haven't already done so, you've heard me talk about it before. If you haven't already done so, download the app Waze, W-A-Z-E. It is phenomenal. It is a lifesaver. I'm telling you. It's sort of like, it's GPS, but it's time sensitive. So it tells you at any time of day the best way to get from A to B, right?
Yeah, it crowdsources.
And it crowdsources
real live traffic updates.
Yeah, right. So as you're driving along, there are people. It'll tell you how many people on that road are tuned into Waze at that time, have the app open. And those people are all reporting things like there's a police car on the right, or there's a bump in the road, or there's whatever, all that kind of stuff. But the experience for us, so Carol and I are leaving San Sebastian in Spain, driving to Biarritz in France. And they said when we picked up the rental car, it's easy. You go down here, you turn left, you take that road leads you right onto the freeway, and that freeway takes you right into France. Well, big sign that said France straight ahead. You can't miss it. We take the road. We get to the freeway. We're on the freeway. There's no sign that says France. There's signs to other towns in Spain between San Sebastian and the border. It turned out to be the right road, but didn't say France. So we figured we're on the wrong damn road. We got off and we got into this spaghetti of interchanges. You couldn't believe it. I thought it was back in Los Angeles. Freeway interchanges. And finally, we just got off, and we're in the middle of this high-tech office park. There was no way we could have found our way out of that. And I said, gosh, I don't know what we're going to do. And you know what? Picked up my cell phone and said, I'm going to try it. Picked up the iPhone, Waze. Now, I've used it a lot, and you've heard me talk about it, using it a lot in this country. But I never thought that they would have coverage in Europe. I was hoping they did. And there it was. We got away, and it took us right from one country into another. Perfect. At any rate, it's free. Download it, and believe me, they don't pay any money to the show. They don't pay me. I'm just telling you, it's something that you can't beat. 866-55-PRESS, again, is our toll-free number. If you don't have Waze, you are in danger of getting lost yourself. We are going to move right into the program here. Betsy Woodruff is coming up from the Daily Beast a little bit later in the program. Emily Crockett will be joining us from Vox, and Jen Bendry from the Huffington Post. And today, don't you know, is Cyber Monday. Yes, indeed. Coming on the heels of Black Friday and Black Saturday, and I guess Black Sunday. I'd love to know what your experience was with your shopping over the weekend. I know Clinton Yates talked to you about this on Wednesday in anticipation of the upcoming shopping rush. Did you go out? How were the crowds? Or did you do what looks like most people did and just went shopping online even before Cyber Monday? 866-55-PRESS is our toll-free number. Want to hear from you. I didn't get out. I wouldn't have gone. I haven't done Black Friday ever, actually. That's the last thing that I want. But a little sign of how Black Friday went this year in my family. I've told you before about my sister Margie, who is she's a Black Friday nut, I would have to say. She had never missed one. This year, she did not go out on Black Friday for the first time in 18 years. She told me yesterday she decided she couldn't stand the crowds anymore. She stayed home. And apparently a lot of other people did. I saw this morning, the numbers are out. from the people to keep track of this. 151 million Americans went shopping over the weekend, either online or in the stores, spending an average, let's see where you fit in this, again, 866-55-PRESS, spending an average of $299.60. So $300 average. That's a lot for that first day of shopping. 151 million Americans, and yet more people on even Black Friday, more people went shopping online than went shopping in the brick and mortar stores. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. You can get first of all, it's a lot easier. You don't have to fight the crowds. You don't have to get dressed. You can just stay home and shop online. You can get the same bargains. You get delivered to your door. And it's almost like, unless you love being shoved around and pushed around and having to wait in lines, why not do it online? Why not stay at home? And the retailers recognize that now. They have started the online deals long before Black Friday, just to get people interested in shopping online. Has that been your experience? 866-55-PRESS. I know I do more and more shopping online. Again, not this weekend. We were still traveling back from Europe this week, and not for me, but just in general, I buy a lot more online than I do in a brick and mortar store. Black Friday sales were down $1 billion from last year. Again, according to the Retail Association, and put out those numbers this morning. Online sales, actually, this is on Friday, on Black Friday, online sales were actually up $2.7 billion. So you had a big change in that. Sales were lower overall than what had been projected, but the online sales in going up and brick and mortar going down. Again, what was your experience? 866-55-PRESS, or send us your comments on Twitter at BP Show, or on Facebook at facebook.com/BillPressShow. Again, when my sister told me that the first time in 18 years she did not go out shopping at all, I figured, hey, something is changing. She's sort of the bellwether here. What was your experience? 866-55-PRESS. And I got to tell you, so think about here's what I don't get. What is so appealing, right, about going out to these stores, in many cases, waiting in line? You know, they were open on Thanksgiving. Waiting in line to get in, and then when those doors open, that rush in. We've seen the crowds of people being pushed aside, thrown to the floor, fights erupt over the last items that are available. Why? When you can sit here with your laptop, with your desktop, sit here with your keyboard, go online to any one of those stores. Any one of those stores has a website. Any one of those stores offers the same bargain, and maybe even better bargains. Now, you got to shop around like anywhere else. But the fact is, you can make that purchase. You can avoid all that stress, all that angst, if you will. And then sit back, and a couple of days later, the thing's going to be delivered right to your door. If you have Amazon Prime, you're buying books, it'll be delivered. In my case, sometimes I get there the next day or 2 days later. I didn't see it the value anymore, if I ever did, of going out to the big shopping malls, to the big shopping centers, and getting caught up in that whole mess. So, and I think it's reflected in the numbers that we saw. Things are really, really down in terms of the Black Friday brick and mortar stores. online sales up. And what does this mean for the retail industry? In the future I don't think brick and mortar stores are ever going to go away. But seriously, what does it mean for the future of these big department stores? I think the future is they're going to be spending more and more time with online sales, more and more time developing their websites, attracting people more and more, starting earlier, and then moving on to bringing people to the websites and changing the entire way that retail works in this country. So we're over at Black Friday. We're into Cyber Monday with, again, average $300 on the part of 151 people who went shopping, either in the stores or online over the weekend. Most of you shopping online. Tell us about it. Why, or did you brave the crowds on Black Friday, and what was your experience? 866-55-PRESS, our toll-free number.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show with Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman. And all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just, make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive, we hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner, one of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, here we are now, just coming up on, there it is, 25 minutes after the hour. Betsy Woodruff from the Daily Beast joins us in studio at the half hour. Interested in your shopping experience over the weekend? Don't say you didn't do it. 151 million Americans did, spending an average $300. And most shoppers, even on Black Friday, shopping online, not out at the shopping mall, not at a brick and mortar store, either big business or small business. By the way, President Obama, he's celebrated Small Business Saturday, as he has done every year, I think, since he's been in the White House. He usually goes out to a bookstore and a little maybe treat place, takes the girls with him, which he did Saturday. Went up to Upshur Books, a little bookstore in Washington I didn't even know about, up in the northwest part of Washington. And then they stopped at Pleasant Pops for a little ice cream treat afterwards, showing again support for the local businesses. Good for the president for doing that. What was your experience? 866-55-PRESS. Drew out in the great state of Kansas. Hello, Drew. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Big Bear Peter. I mainly went online, and it was fairly smooth, and I think it's because they actually have their the supply numbers down. In the past, when I'd go online, there would be stuff that would just get sold out, and it might be a while if you'd even have a chance, and it was slim at best. So.
They've gotten a lot better, don't you think? I mean, on just about all the websites when I go. What I love is, let's say if you're shopping for a sweater or something like that for men's, right? You can click and watch and look at the sweater in different colors, right? Mm-hmm. Try it with different combinations of jeans or khakis or whatever you're wearing. I don't see any advantage anymore, Drew. What is the advantage of actually going out into the stores? Who knows, right? Appreciate the point. Bob in Central Ohio. Hey, Bob.
Good morning, Bill.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hey, I went out. Yes, I did. I went out and bought me a drone at JCPenney's.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wait, they sell drones at JCPenney's?
Yes, they did. And it retailed for $150. It was marked down to $100, and I got a $50 rebate along with it.
Good Lord, good for you. Now,
that thing is awesome. I even got video of me crashing into my neighbor's tree. And my next thing, I'm going online. I'm going to buy my wife the Carol Burnett Show 10 DVD set, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to get her a scarf from Carol Press.
You know what? You're a good man. Yeah, go to our website, BillPressShow.com, and follow the click to the Carol Press scarves, and she will be very, very happy with that. Hey, Bob, I have to ask you, what are you going to use the drone for?
I want to spy on my ex-daughter-in-law.
Be careful, Bob. Be careful. That's the problem that people or the fear that people have with drones, that people are going to use them to spy on their neighbors or on their family members. Look at that. Get a drone for $50 with cameras. Such a good deal. Maybe that made it worthwhile going out to the store. Enjoy your shopping. You won't find me out there. I'll be shopping online. Not just today, on Cyber Monday. Betsy Woodruff coming up next from Daily Beast.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch. And there's no such thing as free speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you. And what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show with Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman, and all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive. We hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner, one of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
President Obama, are you fracking kidding me?
Reopen the EPA studies.
In Texas, Wyoming, and Pennsylvania.
Fracking pollutes our oceans.
Fracking poisons our water.
Fracking makes climate change worse.
Fracking relies on toxic chemicals that cause cancer. Ban fracking now.
Ban fracking now.
Go on. Ban it.
Ban fracking now. Please.
Here's you.
Hey, here we go now, 33 minutes after the hour, the Bill Press Show on a Monday, November 30. Good to see you today. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, long Thanksgiving weekend. Great time to get together with family and friends. And we are back at it today with the House and the Senate coming back from their long Thanksgiving break. And with the candidates back on the road today. In fact, they were even at it over the weekend. They can't afford to even lose one day, I guess, between now and the Iowa caucuses. Betsy Woodruff has been with the Daily Beast covering the 2016 race and joins us in studio again today. Betsy, it's always good to see you.
Yeah, always fun to be here.
Your microphone. All right, try it again.
Always fun to be here.
All right, there we go. Good.
Especially when people can hear me talking.
That's right. That's right. We want to see you and hear you as well. And last time we talked to you, had just been beating up on Lanny Davis, I guess, on the train.
Yeah,
with his comments about Joe Biden, right?
No hot Amtrak scoops to add to the conversation today, alas.
So what is the latest? It looks like that Donald Trump can do no harm. He can even make fun of a disabled reporter. He can even, assert that there were Muslims dancing in the street in New Jersey across the river from downtown Manhattan on September 11 and get away with it.
Nothing matters. It's amazing. You can literally malign an entire state's ethnic group with no repercussions. And it's also amazing that Chris Christie didn't get more backlash for failing to defend Arab folks from New Jersey, which he did not do. The interesting thing to me about Trump is that we're seeing more and more Republican organizations, big dollar donors lining up to say, wow, what is going on? How are we going to stop this guy? And reports coming out from groups, one of which is headed by Republican consultant Liz Mayer, talking about sort of how they're going to finally start going after him in a coordinated fashion. And one thing that was mentioned was that Trump supporters might be swayable if they know that he's previously supported single-payer healthcare, that he's even supported it on the presidential campaign trail, right? Praising Scotland and Canada for how they handle healthcare issues. And I mean, look, that's certainly conceivable, but the reality is that the healthcare issue has almost been entirely sidelined in this presidential race, which I think in and of itself is a crazy story because that was the central unifying issue for Republicans in 2012, and now it's not there anymore. I think that's part of why there's such a crazy disconnect between the establishment and the base.
No, that's a very good point that I hadn't actually thought about myself, that we thought the focus, and in fact, I would say maybe even before Paris, right, we thought the focus would be on healthcare. I mean, last year, right? They were still talking about repealing Obamacare, and yet healthcare has not been an issue at all.
And now it's totally disappeared.
It's been immigration, right? First was immigration and now terrorism.
Right. I think immigration completely displaced healthcare as the central defining issue of this race. I remember maybe the week before Scott Walker dropped out of the presidential race, he released a healthcare plan. It got a ton of praise from sort of conservative intellectuals in the Beltway, National Review, Yuval Levin, and it didn't help him at all. The fact that he came down hard against the Affordable Care Act, the fact that he sort of planted his flag as the guy who was best equipped to repeal and replace, didn't do any good for him. It's amazing.
I'm going to come back to the Trump situation, but isn't it, and I've heard this Liz Mayer, is that right? And others, and we've heard what John Kasich has said, and George and Jeb Bush said, right, trying to rally establishment Republicans, if you will, to say we cannot let this happen.
Right.
But isn't it also true that maybe, or at least maybe, the harder they try, right, the more it helps Trump.
Right, without a doubt. I think one of the lead stories on the Drudge Report over the weekend, of course, a very conservative news aggregating site, one of the lead stories was that Karl Rove sort of helped introduce Ben Carson to a casino magnate.
Yeah.
And then, and the response, of course, from the conservative base is, how dare he? Ben Carson must be a rhino. Look at that establishment squish Ben Carson. We all need to stand up for Trump. Like, this is what's happening in this election, right? These are the dynamics that we live with, and that makes it extraordinarily difficult for establishment Republicans to say, hey, wait, what about us? We're going to get rid of the medical device tax.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really work.
It's sort of delicious when Karl Rove's endorsement becomes poison. Right?
It totally is. 100%.
How things have changed.
I mean, poor guy, right? Literally no one likes him. Must be kind of a bummer just from
So for a while,
view.
it looked like the rising star against Trump would have been Ben Carson.
Mm-hmm.
Not the case today, is it?
Not as much. I think part of the problem for Carson, too, is that Carson supporters like him for very different reasons than Trump supporters like Trump. Trump supporters like Trump because of his bombast and over-the-top character, the fact that he's kind of a caricature of himself, that he's so angry and macho. But Carson supporters like Carson because he's the opposite of that, right? So when the Paris attacks happened and Carson then made comments about refugees that were very ugly, very divisive, even comparing them to dogs, I think some of his supporters saw a different side of him that they didn't love. And I believe that's part of the reason he probably went to Jordan over the course of the weekend to go to a refugee camp, because he needed to remind people that he actually was Mr. Nice Guy, right? Which is a reputation that he undermined in his weird and sort of ham-handed response to the Paris attacks.
Yeah, it was also kind of a strange way for him to try to get, I thought, to try to get some foreign policy cred, right? That obviously it was pretty apparent he had no knowledge of foreign policy and no interest in it. Even,
yeah, exactly.
Right? His staff was saying they couldn't even get him to spend time trying to learn about it. So he says, "No, I'm going to show that I'm a foreign policy expert. I'm going to go to a refugee camp in Jordan, where he makes the leap that because the refugees he met there were nice people who would really go back to their own country. Therefore, we should allow no Syrian refugees in the United States."
Not the wonkiest guy in the world.
No.
And what's interesting too about this particular trip is this is the kind of trip that presidential candidates are supposed to do 6 months before they announce.
Sure.
Because he didn't bring any press. It seemed like a fact-finding mission. And if we take him at his word that he actually was trying to bone up on foreign policy, he should have done this a really long time ago. The fact that 63 days from the Iowa caucuses, he's like, oh crap, I guess I need to go to the Middle East and take a picture in front of a refugee camp. It's like, that's kind of a problem.
All right, so as Carson sinks, Ted Cruz. This looks like it might be his time, right?
Totally. Depending on which poll you look at, he's actually beating Trump in Iowa. I think my guess is that polls are
He's
probably...
certainly beating Carson.
Certainly, yeah. And my guess is the polls are overrepresenting how well Trump's doing in Iowa, because it's tough to poll caucus goers and they tend to change their mind in the last half an hour. But Cruz could end up being the consolidation candidate, because even though establishment Republicans hate him and have long memories going back, of course, to October of 2013, even despite that, he's obviously more electable than Trump. Of course, that's a very low bar, but he is. And it seems extraordinarily unlikely to me that the base would rally around someone like Marco Rubio in this anti-immigration year. So, Cruz is sort of, surprisingly, perhaps astonishingly well positioned.
Chris Christie gets the endorsement of the New Hampshire Union leader today, right?
Yes,
and
yes, indeed.
Very powerful force in New Hampshire. Enough to propel Chris Christie into the front runner status? Not front runner, but among the
enough to sort of extend him a much needed lifeline. I don't think the union leader has endorsed the winner of the New Hampshire primary in quite some time. I want to say in the last 20 years, maybe they've picked the winner of the primary twice.
I saw the numbers. Two out of
the
7.
most valuable morning radio show, according to The Nation magazine. This is the Bill Press Show.
1 second. That was a little interruption there. A button. Just ignore that.
This is the Bill Press Show.
No, don't ignore it. It is the Bill Press Show, and it is the Nation magazine. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We're back to New Hampshire and Chris Christie.
Right. So the union leader isn't necessarily a game changer for Christie, but it does remind people, hey, he exists. There's a reason they like him. And Christie's been in New Hampshire a jillion times. He sort of hitched his wagon to the New Hampshire star. If he hadn't gotten the endorsement from the union leader, that almost would have been a bigger story, because it would have meant he was totally toast.
Right. You are poised to cover this week here in Washington, a big event for Republican candidates. They have another debate coming up, too, on December 15 in Las Vegas. Right?
Yes, indeed.
But this week, they're all coming to town for the Republican Jewish Coalition.
Yes, the Republican Jewish Coalition's winter meeting in D.C. All the candidates are going to be here. It's an interesting crowd. It's the crowd, the attendees, obviously, this is Jewish folks who are very invested in foreign policy and very knowledgeable about it. This isn't CPAC, right? These aren't sign-waving, amnesty-hating base voters. These are people who want to hear really direct specifics about how exactly Republican candidates are going to shore up the United States relationship with Israel, push back ISIS, etc. Chris Christie got got in trouble last year at a Republican Jewish Coalition meeting when he referred to Gaza and the West Bank as occupied territories. There was such a great backlash from those folks that he ended up apologizing, taking that back. So it's a little fraught for some of these candidates. It's especially challenging for Jeb Bush because this should be his base. These are people he should do really well with, but a lot of them, it seems like, are kind of second guessing him, as you could understand, based on most recent Jeb numbers. So it's a high stress event for him, and it's a big opening for Rubio.
Will they endorse a candidate?
I don't think so, but members of their board might. Attendees, of course, have a lot of access to funds, ability to really boost candidates. So while the group might not, it's a room full of potential endorsers, potential powerful supporters.
Betsy Woodruff here from the Daily Beast, dailybeast.com. Don't forget our toll-free number, 866-55-PRESS. You want to jump into the conversation all about 2016 and more. We want to talk about this immigration center you're going to visit down in Florida here when we come back here on Monday edition of the Bill Press Show. We'll be right back.
Seen on Free Speech TV and online on TawkrTV. This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say, you've heard me say it before, there's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show with Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman. And all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just, make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive, we hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner. One of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
Your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
I didn't know it could do that!
Because one trip to the forest can spark a world of difference.
Or create your
over the forest.
All right.
Before 11 minutes before the top of the hour, it is the Bill Press Show. In the next hour, Emily Crockett from Vox will be here in studio with us, and then Jen Bendry from the Huffington Post. Three great reporters here in town, all in studio with us today. And at this hour, we're visiting with Betsy Woodruff from the Daily Beast. So we talked about immigration a little bit. You are going down to take a first-hand look at immigration in Louisiana this week, right?
The LaSalle Detention Center in Jenna, Louisiana. You might recall Jenna from the Jenna 6, of course, a really ugly episode a couple of years back. So this LaSalle Detention Center is really interesting. There have been numerous reports of hunger strikes, of retaliatory solitary confinement, of just treatment of
It's a detention
inmates.
center
It's a detention
for
center
whom?
for immigrants who are about to be deported. It's kind of last stop before you get deported from the U.S. And one thing that we've heard over and over from immigration advocates who work there is that part of the problem with this center, and part of the reason that its management is kind of indicative of systemic problems with the way that we handle immigrants, particularly undocumented immigrants. One problem is that it's really, really remote. It's hard to get to. It's in rural northern Louisiana. There's hardly any hotels nearby. It's obviously not close to any law offices. So if you're an immigrant and you get sent there, the odds that you'll be able to successfully appeal your deportation order are practically zero. One interesting problem or one interesting issue with how immigrant deportation works is that even though the Obama administration talks a lot about changing the enforcement priorities to going after immigrants who've committed violent and dangerous crimes, only a small fraction of immigrants we deport have actually been convicted either of a crime the FBI classifies as serious or of a crime that's violent. So that's one thing that we're really interested in looking at. We've done a decent amount of coverage of the immigrant deportation system, of how it works, focusing more especially on the extent to which for-profit prison companies have moved into this space. Of course, as criminal justice reform takes off, a lot of these companies are worried prisons could end up closing, as has happened in Texas already. And they see immigration detention as a way of kind of growing their market share, as an emerging market they can get into. So Trump, of course, a Trump presidency would be fantastic for those corporations. And it's going to be really interesting to look at
why are
how
these
he would
people in
expand
the
it.
detention center if they haven't committed a crime? They came here illegally, so that is a crime.
Right, committing a crime, of course.
That is against the law. But is that the only crime that they've committed?
One detainee who I spoke with extensively had a misdemeanor check fraud charge that he got when he was 18. About 10 years later, he's still in the United States, undocumented. His wife's undocumented. And he was driving his tow truck. That's what he did to support his wife. They have 3 kids who are all American citizens. He was driving his tow truck, and he got pulled over because he was speeding without a seatbelt on. And because of that, he's being deported. So this is folks who get sent out of the country. I mean, this guy's obviously not a dangerous person. He's not the kind of person we're like, oh man, stealing our jobs.
He's being sent out of the country. He's in this detention center. His wife and his kids, meanwhile.
His wife and kids, meanwhile, are really struggling, having an incredibly difficult time getting by. His wife's also undocumented, so she has trouble finding work.
So what does this tell you from what you haven't been down there yet, but you've obviously done a lot of research on it. What does it tell you about the Trump plan to deport, the realism of the Trump plan to deport 12 million people?
Well, from the standpoint of Republican-based voters, that it's not fiscally conservative. It's extremely expensive. The corporations that run many of these centers make very, very nice, cushy profits off of running the deportation centers. And it jeopardizes families. It makes it so that businesses that sometimes rely on labor from undocumented folks would be in trouble, right? Would have a hard time filling up that labor source. That's obviously not good for the economy. It's not good for businesses. It's not good for families. And it's really curious that a party that positions itself as pro-family, pro-business, pro-industry and entrepreneurship would be so gung-ho about literally destroying families, jeopardizing businesses, and spending a ton of money on something that doesn't make the U.S. any safer.
Not to mention the logistics of rounding up that many people.
The logistics are really hard.
Yeah.
It's super complicated. It's not something that you can do easily. It's feasible, right? It's something that theoretically, with enough resources, that might be doable, but logistically, incredibly hard.
If you could round up enough buses. I mean, I did the numbers a couple of weeks ago on how many buses would be required to handle 12 million people. Greyhound doesn't have enough. Put it that way.
It's amazing.
No, not enough school buses.
And it's
in
a
the
really
country either.
and it's a really ugly visual.
It
too.
is. It's
this idea of packing families onto buses and shipping them.
No, and it's cruel. It's just cruel and inhumane. Betsy, so good to see you. Come back and tell us after you're down there more about it, okay?
Certainly will do.
Want to see you. Betsy Woodruff from Daily Beast. Salam was last hour. DailyBeast.com. We'll be right back. Tell you what the president's up to today. Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show with Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman. And all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just, make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive, we hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner. One of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you. All right, here we go. It's the Bill Press Show. President Obama in Paris for the climate summit, and what Huffington Post is calling our last chance to save the planet. He has already met with the president of China, meeting with the prime minister of India later this afternoon. This evening, he'll be having dinner in Paris at a Paris restaurant with President Francois Hollande, sort of showing that Paris is back and not afraid of terrorism. We'll be back with Emily Crockett from Fox here on the Bill Press Show.
I'm a Piston fan. Their slogan was, "We come to work." That's what Detroit about. That's why they used it. It's a team thing. They won 2 championships, a team. There was no star. No mayor can come in here and be a star. It's a team thing. No governor can come in here and think you can do it by yourself. It's a team thing. You got communities. They got ideas, too. The only thing wrong with Detroit, people have lost hope here. Residents, city workers, so much corruption. They lose hope. But I grew up here. I love this city. I think it can come back. I've been working for the city 24 and a half years. Within the last 10 years, we took 4 pay cuts, and then an additional 10% wage cut. I've lost a home.
When you take all of the decisions out of the city of Detroit, all of us, then what do you have? Exactly what we got, a lot of problems. Every time the city seems to fall into a problem, it's always on the backs of us workers.
You wake up out of a dead sleep and you jump behind the wheel and take off driving and try to get everybody there safe, not knowing really what you're pulling up to. I'm not eligible for Social Security, so the pension is my sole salary at this point.
We've been in business here 39 years. We've seen a lot of changes in Detroit. The area was a lot of industry, a lot of city workers. It's getting very tough for the city workers. It's getting tough for us as a business people.
Response times are increasing because of the closing of companies, which takes your insurance rate through the roof. So all the things that affect us affect the citizens.
I worked for the city in different capacities for 29 years. I feel like an old jacket. You use me up and they throw me away. In my condition, nobody's gonna hire me. I'm 68 years old. Half the times, I can't get my blood pressure medicine. It's either feeding myself, blood pressure, or paying bills.
$754. By the time they take all the deductions for I have my car insurance, my house insurance, and my health insurance taken out. So the time they take all that, I'll get about $300 after they take all that out. I don't understand it. I can't see how the governor is allowing this to happen and what they're doing and they want to blame it all on the seniors. Not only the seniors, but the city workers. And we worked hard. I know I worked hard.
I've been in Detroit since 1946. I was 14 years old when I came in. I don't live large at all. I wish I could. I don't know when the last time I've been shopping. I only get $1,100, and I'm 81 years old, and I need every penny that I can get and that I do get. And I'm very, very upset about the idea of them taking away my pensions that I worked 30 years for. I think it's terrible that they talk about Detroit like they do, because Detroit has been very good to me.
I have a lot of city workers coming in with their uniforms on, Detroit Water Department, Police Department, Fire Department. I get a lot of people, the Border Patrol come in. So if I lose that customer base, I'm going to be in a position where I might have to close down. If they take away their pensions, if they start cutting jobs, it's going to cut into a large percentage of not only our business, but other businesses that are in the city of Detroit. We're here. We've been here for 26 years. We're still trying to do business in the city.
Detroiters are survivors. They tough. They adapt. But only can do so much when your politicians are ahead of you and we're not on the same team. We're not going to let Detroit be erased, bulldozed to where. We're going to fight to the bitter end. Detroit going to survive.
Just this month, my bill was like $138.
Even at one phone call a week cost me $40 to $50 every month.
I am living on a fixed income of SSI, so this is really a great hardship. Families are being punished. When they incarcerate their children, they incarcerate the whole family.
In 2011, the Media Action Grassroots Network, Working Narratives, and Prison Legal News founded the Campaign for Prison Phone Justice, an effort to call on the FCC to address the cost of interstate phone calls. The campaign mobilized prisoners to send hundreds of letters. Advocates and families filled out postcards, met with elected officials, and signed petitions. Partnerships were formed across the political spectrum and with groups in the criminal justice, civil rights, and public interest community. The film distribution company Participant Media and director Ava DuVernay joined the fight through a social action campaign tied to the release of the feature film Middle of Nowhere. In an effort to push the FCC to act, the campaign hosted a historic rally outside of the Federal Communications Commission where for the first time, families of prisoners, elected officials, civil rights and faith leaders came together to call for an end to predatory phone rates.
We're all held captive when predatory phone companies gouge our families.
My son has been incarcerated now for over 10 years, and my husband estimates that in the time we spent over $25,000 on prison phone calls.
My hero's not yours, you probably arrested them. Your schools probably neglected them. They spawn thoughts, you probably infected them. Feed us what you feed us, you can lay us next to them. FBI call it major crimes. Babies making babies cry.
Connect with The Bill Press Show on Twitter. Follow us at BP Show and tweet using the hashtag WatchingBP. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hey, you got it. How about it on a Monday, November 30? So good to see you today. Welcome back from a long holiday weekend, a Thanksgiving weekend to all of you. And I'm back from an even longer Thanksgiving vacation. Good to be back with you. Great to see you today. Thank you so much for joining us. It is the Bill Press Show. We are live here in our nation's capital, coming to you from our studio on Capitol Hill and reaching out to you all across this great land of ours on your local progressive talk radio station, of course, and on Free Speech TV. We're on the radio. We're on television. Worldwide, we're on our video stream, youtube.com/TawkrTV. And 151 million of you out there over the weekend shopping, on Black Friday that was, shopping, spending an average of $300. Well, good start for the holiday shopping season. I hope most of you, more of you shopped online than in the brick and mortar stores and in the shopping centers, which I think is a good sign. People are getting smarter and avoiding the crowds. Again, great to see you today. We have a great guest in studio for this first half hour, Betsy Woodruff. I'm sorry, that was last half hour. Emily, what am I doing?
She's a good friend of mine, though, yeah.
Yeah, right. A little rusty, I've been away for 10 days, so getting back to Emily Crockett here from Vox at Vox.com, of course. Hi, Emily. Nice to see you.
Hi, Bill. Nice to see you.
You know what? Tonight is a big night for not just for children, but for grown-ups too. The 50th on ABC tonight, Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
The 50th anniversary. Can you believe?
No kidding. I cannot believe that. I cannot.
And of course, Charles Schulz, the cartoonist, was asked to try to put together a little Christmas special 50 years ago. He did.
Yeah.
Showed it to one of the other networks. I forget which one it was right now. And they did a little screening for the two top executives. And at the end of it, the guy stood up and he said, well, you gave it a good try, but we're not interested.
Oh, man.
Not going to make it. Nobody will watch this.
Wow.
They went to ABC instead, and here we are. 50 years later. Charlie Brown. Can
Great
you believe
mistakes in artistic history.
Yeah, I know. reminds me of one of the great studio heads, turn of the last century, famously said something like, nobody wants to hear talking movies. Right?
Womp, 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 womp.
Right, there they go. Right. So good to see you. And you have been sadly covering a story that is the top story of the day, and we started out the show talking about this morning, which is this tragic shooting in Colorado Springs. Pretty clearly, where 3 people were killed. 3 wonderful citizens of Colorado Springs. We've heard lots of stories about their lives and the wonderful people that they were. Pretty clear, isn't it, that this guy's target was the Planned Parenthood clinic?
It's pretty clear. Police are not going so far as to say that at this point. They are still saying that, well, no, the motive isn't clear. But we do have a couple of anonymous law enforcement sources have been talking to the press and told the Associated Press and told NBC that, among other things, he was just sort of ranting as he was taken into custody. This attacker said no more baby parts. And if you've been following the Planned Parenthood video controversy, Planned Parenthood sells baby parts was a hashtag, PP sells baby parts, a hashtag that was invented, that was popularized by the Center for Medical Progress, which is the anti-abortion activist group that released these videos claiming, falsely claiming that Planned Parenthood sells fetal tissue for profit. There's absolutely no evidence to substantiate this. There have been a dozen state investigations. There's an ongoing federal investigation. No one has turned up any evidence that this is true. However, they have been, pushing this idea to their base that Planned Parenthood, that abortion creates baby parts and Planned Parenthood sells baby parts. And it's just been baby parts, relentlessly. And not just from these activists, not just on Twitter.
Well, I was just going to say,
we've been hearing.
This one activist organization might be doing so, a bunch of radical extremists, but it's been coming from the Republican Party candidates.
Yes, this term filtered up from the grassroots. It started with these anti-abortion activists, and it filtered up to the Republican establishment, where you had pretty much everyone saying the term baby parts. You would have Ted Cruz. You would have John Boehner, the former Speaker of the House, Bob Goodlatte, who was the chair of the House Judiciary Committee, used the term baby parts in his opening statement in a congressional inquiry, and which was entitled Planned Parenthood Exposed. So, there was some political motivation there. So this has been a common mainstream vitriolic attack on Planned Parenthood from the Republicans. They have just been absolutely over the top in the way that they have attacked Planned Parenthood. They have routinely compared it to the Holocaust, to genocide, to black genocide, because black women have more frequent abortions for various socioeconomic reasons. And they compare it to slavery. Ben Carson, an African-American candidate for president, said it was compared it to slavery and implicitly compared women to slave owners by saying that, didn't we already learn that you shouldn't own another person and do whatever you want with another person? And so this has been extreme rhetoric, and we now have an extreme result in this attack.
And Carly Fiorina leading the pack, I would say, with her allegations of this video, which she's still not produced because it doesn't exist.
Right, it doesn't exist. Carly Fiorina's tale of what this video told was sort of like, it's like as if she'd watched the videos in a fever dream and sort of remembered what she thought she saw. And it's strange because I could have given her the benefit of the doubt after that debate and said, oh, well, she may have just misremembered it. But no, after that, after fact checkers called her out, she doubled down, and she also doubled down on the part that was most obviously a lie. She said that there was a voice in the video that was saying that we have to keep it alive to harvest its brain. That never happened. She did say, okay, we saw a fetus kicking on the table, but that was stock footage, and it's also know where that stock footage came from. It may not even have been of an abortion. It could have been of a miscarriage, for instance. So there's no verifying where that footage came from, but it was spliced in to illustrate a story that this former stem cell technician told, and it made a lot of people think that it was taken inside of Planned Parenthood because the other videos were, but it wasn't. It was complete fabrication.
So when we look at what happened, and again, we don't know all the facts yet, but I think we know enough to conclude a couple of things about what happened in Colorado Springs. Number one is another case of easy access to guns for people who should never have one.
Mm-hmm.
That's something the president talked about.
Yeah.
But there's something more chilling to me, which is, it seems to me we can also say that rhetoric, hate speech has consequences.
Yes.
Hate speech leads to hateful acts.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen it before, and we see it again in this case. I don't see how anybody can deny it.
Yeah, and that's definitely a lot of the pro-choice.
This guy was basically repeating what he had heard on television, on the radio, what he had probably heard from Carly Fiorina.
Yeah, and from pretty much pick a Republican, any Republican, and he probably heard it from them. And the pro-choice organizations are really coming out pretty strongly. They're calling it domestic terrorism. They're saying that we need to acknowledge that violence against abortion clinics and abortion providers is a 40-year campaign of terror, and that, there may be isolated actors. They may not all be with the same group. But this is a movement that for 40 years has tried to terrorize abortion providers and stop them from providing and stop women from seeking abortions. And also the Elise Hogue of NARAL Pro-Choice America had just a blistering Facebook post the other night saying that David DeLayden of Center for Medical Progress, who created the videos, and Troy Newman of Operation Rescue, which is an extreme, often violent rhetoric, anti-abortion group. She said that Troy Newman, and they both put out statements saying, "Oh, we condemn these attacks," and sympathy for the victims and all this. And Elise Hogue said, "No, you can't say these things and then pretend that you have no responsibility when something like this happens." And the lawmakers, there's some responsibility there as well that folks are putting on them.
Well, and it comes at a particularly awkward time, perhaps, for members of Congress who are coming back today, and one of the items of their agenda is still the threat of shutting down the government over funding for Planned Parenthood.
That'll be really interesting to see how that plays out going forward. You might think, or hope at least, that they would at least back down on the more extreme rhetoric. I think my guess is they'll back down on it.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, I think for about 2 weeks. I think they'll probably avoid saying anything really inflammatory for about 2 weeks, and then it'll be back to business as usual. Although I don't know, this whole potential government shutdown, there is a time limit on that, right? Like they could. Yeah. This could be something that they realize that they can't touch politically until people's recent memories have gone away of this. But, you look back 6 years ago, George Tiller, a dedicated abortion provider in Kansas, was murdered in his own church by a gunman. And that was, of course, shocked the nation, but it didn't stop. Ultimately, people went right back to attacking abortion. And then the next year, that was 2009. In 2010, we started seeing this Tea Party wave in state legislatures. And we started seeing unprecedented numbers of anti-abortion legislation being passed in the states. Things that require clinics to, expand their closets and parking lots, millions of dollars of repair that would effectively close clinics. You have admitting privileges laws that doctors can't meet because hospitals won't give them to them.
Have we seen more violence directed against clinics?
Yes, we have. Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's been another issue that abortion providers have been really concerned about. So these videos came out in July. Since July, between July and mid-September, the FBI actually issued a memo saying that there's been an uptick in these kinds of attacks, and we can expect more of them because this is typical of the pro-life extremism. They called it pro-life extremist attacks, arsons, vandalism, things like that. And these are unfortunately routine incidents for providers. And we had 4 arsons at Planned Parenthood clinics in the last 4 months. And this is unusual. Even that level of violence is unusual. And the National Abortion Federation, which is the professional network of abortion providers, they say they've been concerned. They've been hearing reports from their members for months that attacks and threats and harassment has escalated because of this violent rhetoric, these videos, and yeah.
And sadly, that violent rhetoric for some people, like this guy in Colorado Springs, they take as a license to go out and take the law into their own hands, and we've seen it again here. And the direct link, I'd assert there is a direct link between the rhetoric we've heard from the Republican politicians on the campaign trail and the murder of 3 people at this Planned Parenthood clinic, in Colorado Springs. Emily Crockett's here with us from Vox. It's Vox.com. Your calls welcome at 866-55-PRESS. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Seen on Free Speech TV and online on TawkrTV. This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show with Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman. And all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just, make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive, we hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner. One of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
the most valuable morning radio show, according to The Nation magazine. This is The Bill Press Show.
All right, you got it 24 minutes after the hour now here with Emily Crockett from Vox at Vox.com. Jen Bendry from the Huffington Post joins us at the half hour. Good lineup today here. We've been talking about the tragic shooting in an attack on the Planned Parenthood clinic in Colorado Springs on Friday, leaving 3 people, 1 police officer dead. And the response on the part of the Republican candidates, whose rhetoric I think directly led to this attack, has been curious to say the least, Emily. Ted Cruz was asked about this terrorist, this domestic terrorist, and Ted Cruz said that he suggested he is a, quote, transgendered leftist activist.
Yeah, so the source of that, so first of all, transgendered is not something that we say. It's transgender. But of course, right. Ted Cruz, I'm sure, doesn't know or care about that.
But why would he call him a transgender?
The reason for that.
Let's attack gays again, or LGBT again, right?
Yeah, I know, yeah. The basis for this is that this attacker had a voter registration in Colorado that marked him as female. Now, by all that could very easily be a clerical error. There's no other evidence, either from neighbors or interviews with friends or his presentation appearance, that would suggest that he's transgender. Even if he was transgender, that wouldn't change the fact that this was a heinous crime against Planned Parenthood and arguably a terrorist attack against that is designed to keep abortion providers and women from seeking medical care.
And Carly Fiorina, whom I would say is the most guilty of all among the candidates in terms of her rhetoric, she says that any link between that rhetoric and what happened is typical left-wing tactics.
Yeah. Of course, if it is typical left-wing tactics, she doesn't say whether it's wrong. She certainly implies that it is. But she was saying that, the left wing is just trying to attack, the pro-life movement because they don't like their message. Well, yeah, they don't like their message. It's because their message is demonizing abortion providers and arguably inciting violence by calling them killers, by calling them Nazis and war criminals and Holocaust perpetrators and every awful thing under the sun, by distributing wanted posters in these doctors' neighborhoods with their address on it. By doing all of this, these are terrorizing acts, terrorist acts, arguably. Because this has been a 40-year campaign, essentially. It's very decentralized, but ever since Roe v. Wade, ever since 1977, we've had almost 200 instances of arson. It's 8 murders. It's been really bad.
And it's worth repeating again, I think, about Planned Parenthood, that 95% of the clients who come there, the patients who come there, coming there, women just for basic health services.
Yeah. The vast majority, they say that 3% of their services are abortions, and that's if you count, one service is like an abortion, a pap smear, a pregnancy test, so it could be more than one person has more than one service. But if you break it up that way, then abortions are 3% of what they do. They do a lot. They do mostly other reproductive health care.
And the abortion procedure, if a woman chooses to do that, is a legal procedure in this country.
It is a legal procedure.
And the Supreme Court has ruled that, and it's been for 50 years now, right?
Yep. Ever since Roe v. Wade in 1973, so more than 40 years. Yes, math. Yeah, more than 40 years. Yep.
Yeah, it's frightening. Both aspects of it are frightening. Here again, another mass shooting, another case of guns being too easily available, and the rhetoric on the right hand of the right wingers leading to such hateful acts, an act of domestic terrorism. No doubt about it. Call it what it is. Emily, come in and talk to us about a brighter topic.
Let's hope.
At some point. But thank you for coming in today. Appreciate it. Back with Jen Bendry from Huffington Post on Congress and Paris. We'll be right back.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show with Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman. And all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just, make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive, we hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner. One of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
President Obama, are you fracking kidding me?
Reopen the EPA studies.
In Texas, Wyoming, and Pennsylvania.
Fracking pollutes our oceans.
Fracking poisons our water.
Fracking makes climate change worse.
Fracking relies on toxic chemicals that cause cancer. Ban fracking now.
Ban fracking now.
Go on. Ban it.
Ban fracking now.
Please.
Happy birthday.
Connect with The Bill Press Show on Twitter. Follow us at BP Show and tweet using the hashtag WatchingBP. This is The Bill Press Show.
All right, here we go. 33 minutes after the hour. It is The Bill Press Show on a Monday, November 30, last day of the month, and first day after the long Thanksgiving weekend. Hope you had a great one. I was out of the country, but it's good to be back with all of you. And thanks to Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates and Jimmy Williams for filling in while I was gone. Back here and excited to welcome one of our best friends and favorite guests, Jen Bendry from the Huffington Post. here in studio with us, HuffingtonPost.com, of course. Hello, Jen. Good to see you.
Hello.
You had a good Thanksgiving?
I did.
Yeah?
I did.
Great.
I got a table just in time to have people over. And
Oh,
have
that's
dinner on
always
it.
nice. Yeah, so the people don't have to stand up and hold the plates
And sit on in the
while they're
floor in
eating.
a circle,
or sit
like a
on the
picnic in
floor,
your living room.
in a circle, exactly. So Huffington Post today, the headline is "Last Chance to Save the Planet." Last chance to save the world. Speaking, of course, about the United Nations Conference on Climate Change just outside of Paris, where President Obama is representing the United States. Some members of Congress have a little different opinion about this, huh?
Well, yes. There's a number of Republicans who don't think this is a good idea to go full steam ahead in trying to stop climate change.
Some of them don't even accept that there is such a thing as climate change.
You've seen their language change a bit. A lot of Republicans used to say climate change isn't real. It's, this is overblown. Now the line is, well, obviously the climate is changing, but it's not caused by humans. It's just the planet just doing its thing and getting hotter. Humans are not related, which is also ridiculous because there's this thing called science, and it shows that when we burn things and send greenhouse gas emissions into the air, they get trapped in our atmosphere and makes the planet hotter. So
there's also a thing called eyesight that you can see the glaciers disappearing, right? You can see the sea levels rising. You can see Miami streets already being flooded. And you can see Pacific Islands disappearing. Yeah, but where the timing of the conference in Paris, and Republicans plan this week to actually vote this week on trying to repeal some of the things that President Obama has done about climate change, where they're really trying to undercut the message from Paris.
Yeah, and again, it's puzzling because why would you pass bills to try to repeal things that try to curb climate change? I mean, climate change is one of those issues that, I understand that a lot of Republicans feel, they argue, well, all these restrictions we're putting on businesses and emissions standards, it hurts business, and that's bad for the economy, and it's bad for the country. But it's not, I don't think it's a quid pro quo. It's not like, okay, therefore no regulations on business and therefore the planet is dead. So yeah, they're definitely trying to send a message this week that, they're not going to have it and they're going to protect businesses. But the reality is their bills aren't going anywhere. So it's just all for show.
Right. And President Obama has said that if they do get enough votes in the House to pass this, the Senate has already done so, that he would veto it. Right.
Yeah.
So
In the end, the president will veto bills that he's not a fan of. And the Republicans control the House and Senate, so they can pass bills that they like. But they've also got to get a veto-proof majority in order to really get anything done. And so far, Nancy Pelosi has really showed that she can prevent any vetoes or she can keep them from being overridden.
Yeah, what you said, I must admit, I know it's naive as hell on my part, but it just does seem to me that saving the planet should not be a partisan issue. One would think when the vast majority, I think every scientist who is not on the payroll of an oil company will tell you, this is real, folks. This is serious. Time is running out. Even the Pope says this, believes the scientists, right?
Well, the Pope made that the thrust of his whole speech when he came to the United States.
Huffington Post points out today that 2015 is already set to be the hottest year on record. You cannot deny the evidence. And if there were any issue that would rise above politics, it would seem to me it would be this one, which is it's in everybody's interest, even in Republicans' interest, to save the planet, right?
Well, and the thing that gets me is when you hear some military leaders talk about it, because sometimes people will ask them, what is the number one national security threat?
Right.
And they will say it's not ISIS, it's not Al-Qaeda, it's not terrorism, it's climate change. Think about that. Think about it as like a threat to the country's safety, never mind the planet. So when it's something that I still think it just hasn't gotten the traction among the majority of people in Congress that it needs to get in order for them to really do something to try to.
And it's by no means certain that Paris will succeed. You know, Kyoto didn't, Copenhagen didn't, getting everybody together, but the hopes are really high on Paris. And I think for the vast majority of Americans, they're hoping that we come out of here with an agreement. I think it's very significant. The president met today with, because 6 hours ahead over there, he's already done so, with President Xi of China, and he's meeting with Prime Minister Modi of India this afternoon. The United States, India, and China are the three biggest polluters, the three biggest contributors to greenhouse gases. And if the three of them can agree to take the lead in this, the other nations will follow, and then we'll come out of this with some limits. I read yesterday in the New York Times that even if we were to, if Paris works, right, and we were able to shift to renewable energy and get away from fossil fuels, it'll still take tens of thousands of years to correct the damage that we've done. Imagine that, the responsibility that weighs on us, I think, our generation.
And then you think about the fact that you've still got our Congress doing nothing about it. Nothing.
Not only doing nothing, but trying to undo what President Obama has been able to do by executive action.
Right.
So those votes are coming up this week. A little awkward, perhaps, if anything is ever awkward for the Republican leadership, that they've been making a big deal about Planned Parenthood. They come back this week geared to maybe some of them even talking about shutting down the government because of Planned Parenthood, holding hearings on Planned Parenthood, and then we see what happened in Colorado Springs. Will it have any impact?
Oh, absolutely. You've already got a number of Republicans scrambling to, when asked the question, was this an act of domestic terrorism? Because typically you've got Republicans going strong on terrorism and talking about ISIS. And on a separate note, they're very strongly, anti-Planned Parenthood by and large. So when you have arguably a terrorist attack at a Planned Parenthood
clinic,
deny it.
Can't
it gets
deny
very uncomfortable for them because they want to look tough on terror. Do they consider this terrorism? Why wouldn't they? Several people were gunned down. It was meant to threaten and intimidate people. And the guy behind it was, I think they're still looking into his clear motivation to do this, but he did make some comment about there being, quote, like no more body parts.
Mm-hmm.
And
no more selling body parts.
Right.
Yeah.
And that certainly makes a connection to the videos that the rabidly anti-abortion group put out over the summer, that these edited, totally not truthful videos about what goes on at Planned Parenthood. If the guy who shot up this Planned Parenthood is really referring to those videos, then that makes Republicans, that puts them in a very bad position because they created their Planned Parenthood committee in the House based on those videos. And the videos have been debunked. So it's just getting to the point where someone's going to have to say, look, you can't just go out there and say all this horrible, violent, aggressive rhetoric about Planned Parenthood and then be completely surprised when someone goes and shoots up a Planned Parenthood clinic. They're not disconnected from each other. There's a culture that we're creating that contributes to people like this guy going to Planned Parenthood and shooting everybody up.
Right.
So I think Republicans are going to be on the spot this week to talk about that.
And the rhetoric also has come, as we talked a little bit earlier this hour with Emily Crockett, has come particularly from the Republican candidates for president, starting with Carly Fiorina, who's the first one who talked about this phony video she's never produced because it doesn't exist. But there's I think you can't deny the direct link between the hateful rhetoric and what happened in Colorado Springs. And how they deal with that, it's going to be interesting.
That's going to be hot on Capitol Hill this week, for sure. It's a very uncomfortable subject.
Jen Bendry here from Huffington Post, covering the Congress and the White House for Huffington Post. Do you see that link, as we do, between the rhetoric on the right and the tragic shootings in Colorado Springs on Friday? 866-55-PRESS. Join the conversation here, and we'll be right back. Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. the best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show and Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman, and all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive, we hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner, one of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
According to The Nation magazine, this is the Bill Press Show.
You got it 13 minutes now before the top of the hour on this Monday, November 30. The Huffington Post, Jen Bendry here in studio with us, with Congress coming back to town today, the Senate and the House. So, Jen, by the way, how much time do they have left in this year? I mean, this basically... This is the home stretch, right?
Well, let's see. They just took a week off for Thanksgiving. We get a couple days. They get a week. They'll come back this week.
They never get just one day, by the way. If it's ever like Columbus Day, right? They'll take the whole week.
Just whenever there is a national holiday, they tend to take the whole week off. Sometimes 2 weeks. Must be nice. Mm-hmm. They're back this week, and they're probably in for... Typically, they'll be in for another 2 weeks, and that's it.
And those 2 weeks are like 3-day weeks anyhow, right? Or maybe
3 or 4 day weeks.
Right.
And then if they, they tend to save all the major bills or the must pass things to the very last minute, when the year ends. So they'll have this like collective scramble sometime in mid-December to take everything that simply has to pass, lump it all into one bill, and then try to get it through and then go home. And it's messy. People are tired and cranky, and they just do it and go home, and they're gone for a month.
What's on the agenda first? So for the next 2 weeks, what do they have to do, or what will they be dealing with?
Well, they have to deal with a transportation bill. That's a big one this week. It's a bill that keeps our highways.
They still haven't passed this damn transportation bill.
They have to do that, and they have another spending bill to pass to keep the government running. There's like a handful of other things. They really want to do something.
But didn't they decide on a 5-year or 6-year transportation bill?
They did, but there's another. I think that I'm not an expert on the subject, but I think that the House and the Senate both passed their own versions.
That's
and
right.
So they have to figure out the
Conference
difference.
and then come back and pass the final
and
vote.
it's some people are very eager to get this bill passed because it funds road projects and bridges and things like that, and we've got some problems with our infrastructure. So there's that.
Hello, yeah.
And they've got some. They always have some big stuff at the end of the year just to keep the machine running.
Is there still any serious talk about shutting down the government?
No, for the first time in a while, I think because Paul Ryan is now the speaker, and part of the deal with getting him to become speaker was passing the major budget package. It keeps the government running. It funds the government's different agencies, and it lasts for a little while. It raised the debt ceiling. It kind of like John Boehner's last move before leaving his job was cleaning all that up, which was a really nice parting gift for Paul Ryan. So now that that's out of the way, the threat of a shutdown is far less likely. And this is the first time in, at least 2 or 3 years that I can remember where if somebody had asked me that question, the answer is always, I don't know. We could have another shutdown.
No, you're right. That was John Boehner's parting gift.
It was, and it was a very nice parting gift.
To Paul Ryan, but also to the Republican Party and to the House of Representatives and to the American people, right? The last thing we need to deal with. But there still is the push to do something about cutting funding for Planned Parenthood.
Yes.
Correct? And this committee is the focus on it. Senator Barbara Boxer spoke out about that over the weekend.
Yeah, so House Republicans created this new committee just to investigate the videos that came out over the summer that are, again, heavily edited, discredited videos that claim that Planned Parenthood was selling fetal tissue for profit. It was completely false, but there's some graphic image of abortions because abortions are disgusting to watch. And this committee formed to just keep dragging it out and to try to make it look like something wrong has happened. They haven't actually met yet, but they are fully formed now, and they could meet as soon as this week. And in light of what happened in Colorado last week, I just don't know how they're going to proceed right now, because the person who shot up the clinic reportedly said something to the effect of, there will be no more body parts. And that sounds like it is a direct link back to those videos, which is connected to this committee.
Right.
Which, again, the video has been discredited, so it just kind of gets messy. And
so Senator Boxer called on Speaker Ryan to disband the committee.
So over the weekend, Senator Barbara Boxer put out a statement saying, her thoughts and prayers are with the victims of the Colorado attack. And by the way, all this angry rhetoric that's been put out there by people about Planned Parenthood in the last few months doesn't help, and it's making the situation worse. And it's up to Paul Ryan now to disband this committee in the name of safety and in the name of not having, this angry rhetoric tied to a health clinic that is legally doing its job. So I actually reached out to Paul Ryan's office over the weekend to see if they had any comment, because that was the first time I'd seen a member of Congress directly link this Planned Parenthood committee to being potentially part of the problem. So any
response from
Ryan's shop said that
deny any link, of course.
Well, actually, I just said, do they have any response to this? And his spokeswoman said, well, I'm sure the speaker will talk about it this week. So I didn't really get any comment, but it's going to be very awkward because people are mad and think that the rhetoric around Planned Parenthood has become so intense in the last several months that it's created this culture where, should people really be so shocked when someone shows up at a Planned Parenthood clinic and, shoots people down and says, it's time to stop cutting up baby parts?
No.
There's clearly a connection to the rhetoric in our culture and the violence.
Not when they can tune into Fox News or tune into to right-wing talk radio or listen to any of the Republican candidates for president or a lot of members of Congress who are using that kind of rhetoric when they're talking about Planned Parenthood. Again, to some people, it's just a license to take the law into their own hands. And the most important question, did you get your invitation yet to the White House Christmas party?
I did not. I
What?
got my invitation to Joe Biden's party, but I haven't seen the White House one yet. Wow, maybe
I'm
I've been
jealous. I
disinvited.
don't have the Joe Biden invitation.
I mean, truth be told, that one's a little more fun.
I'll bet it is.
Because Joe Biden actually walks around and talks
Yeah.
to everybody, and at the White House reception,
Yeah.
you do get your picture taken with the president, which is awesome, but he doesn't really talk to you.
No,
Joe Biden's like hamming it up with people the whole time.
Jen Bendry, great to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Of course.
I'll wrap things up with a parting shot. We'll be right back.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show with Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman. And all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just, make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive, we hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner. One of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you. All right. You know, one of the most important international summits in history underway in Paris. Of course, I'm talking about the United Nations Conference on Climate Change. Leaders of 150 nations gathered outside of Paris, not to debate whether global warming exists, but to adopt strict new worldwide limits on greenhouse gas emissions. There's only one problem. Back here at home, Republicans in Congress still refuse to accept the existence of climate change. And in fact, they've scheduled votes this week to overturn the latest EPA rules to clean up new power plants at the very time that world leaders, led by President Obama, are meeting in Paris to take action on climate change. Republican opposition to any efforts to deal with global warming, it's not only an embarrassment to the United States, friends, it's a danger to the planet. Shame on them. Who do they think they represent by opposing any efforts on climate change? That's my parting shot for today. Thanks for being with us today. Now go out and have a great Cyber Monday. Shop until you drop, and come back and see us again tomorrow because we'll be looking for you.